The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
This is WFO Radio.
Welcome to WFO Radio. The Stampede of Speed has kicked off. Logo reveal. Jim Gunn Racing's 20 car. Listen to the cackle. Buddy Hull backing up from the burnout. And the 2025 Texas Motorplex Stampede of Speed reveal. And the launch. And we will go live to the Texas Motorplex. All out. And Buddy on track, and we are joined by Christie Meyer Johnson. Christie, what a day it has been for you guys. You've revealed the logo. You've got the media there. We're going to hear from drivers. You've got to be very excited. Welcome back.
Thanks, Joe. It's a really good day, and we are having a great time here down in Ennis, Texas at the Texas Motorplex, celebrating the 40th anniversary of the Fall Nationals and our 5th year to do the Stampede of Speed. Joe, we just couldn't be more excited. I mean, that funny car, I mean, what do you think? It looks pretty amazing, doesn't it?
I love the logo. Okay, so I have the logo. I brought it up here. I want to study it, right? Like, it's retro. It's this great look. I can't wait to see the T-shirts and all the swag. But with the colors and everything for the 5th year, you guys have gone all out.
We have gone all out. And yes, you got it. It's retro. We want to remember our roots and go back and celebrate the history of the last 40 years of all the incredible moments that have happened here at the Motorplex. Today we have the media here. We have a memorabilia out for people to go through and see pictures and see newspaper clippings and all the historical moments that we are so proud of. We have drivers here. It's just been a super great day. People are eating barbecue. We're very blessed. We're very excited. We're less than 90 days out, and we are getting ready to invite all the fans from across the country back to the Texas Motorplex.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, so each year, though, you guys have learned from the previous year. You've got the 90s country kind of vibe going. So let's start with whatever we can share from the beginning. Who are our country concert performers?
We are very excited. We have a 3-day music festival, and this year we have Pat Green is headlining Friday night, along with Colby Lee Swift and William Clark Green Friday night. And then Saturday night with our Lantern release, we have Chris Young as our headliner. And before that, we have Ashley McBride, Ned Ledoux, and Cafe Anderson. And Cafe actually has been here before for the national anthem, so we're excited to bring him here and hear him sing his entire, repertoire of music. And then Sunday for our 90s Country Day and Lantern release, our headliner is Clint Black, which is very exciting to us. And then we also have, let's see, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Oh, Mark Wills, Mark Chestnut, and we have a Texas favorite, Gary P. Nunn. So we're very excited to have the guys, back and to celebrate all the things. And we'll have our Texas Invitational, and we'll have bull riding, and we'll have the beer expo and the barbecue contest. I mean, there's so many things, it's hard to name them all, but you've been here, Joe. You're a part of the team. You know exactly what we're doing, but we're excited. We really, 5 years, I didn't know that this would continue. When we started it, we didn't know if this would just be something that fans would engage with, that people would take seriously. And here we are 5 years later, and we feel very blessed that we're doing it. And we're already thinking about 2026 and booking artists for that. So this is something we plan on doing for the long term.
I have been there from the first minute to the last minute, and it is a tremendous event. Just a week ago, I was in Norwalk, And these two race fans that I was hanging out with, they told me that they remember the first year of the Stampede of Speed, and that we hyped it on the show, and they went out there, John and John, a son and father, that were super stoked already about the Stampede of Speed for 2025. But you're freaking me out a little bit. We're only 70 days out. That seems like right around the corner.
It's coming fast, Joe. And, we're prepared. We really are. We've had, it's been an interesting year at the Motorplex. We've been very busy. We've had some major weather here, but we are ready. We've got some new paving. We've repaved 700 feet of the finish line area on the track. We've been doing things to get ready for our fans. We have the new burnout bun that we're showing. It's a new item we'll have in the concession stand for the 40th anniversary. So we're ready. We've been meeting, making sure all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted for fans to come and have a great Texas experience.
Local community wise, you're there, you're reaching out to members of the media. What has the response been to drag racing, right? Like the most important thing about the Stampede of Speed is it's designed to build awareness to drag racing by having the country concert, the barbecue contest, the lantern release. People come out to the drag strip, the Motorplex. Years. What has the response been from the local media now that you're at the 5th year of doing this?
They love it. I mean, they see what we're trying to accomplish. We're trying to introduce a new fan to the sport of drag racing. Drag racing's been around a long time, and our fans are aging. And so our goal was to introduce it to new generations and to new people that love motorsports or that have never even been a part of motorsports. So by bringing in these new, like our cattle drive we have in downtown Waxahachie, the music festival, we have the Divisional race. We have a champion center where we get to celebrate all previous champions of the Fall Nationals. And then we have a fan fest in downtown Waxahachie where it's a free event. People can come and meet over 70 drivers. It's the largest fan fest on the NHRA tour. So we try to provide opportunity for people to come and enjoy and spend time with their families. And so far, all of the responses we've gotten from fans, media, our sponsors has just been incredible. And we're very grateful that we get to do it.
The divisional race. Let's focus on that. In addition, last year, the cattle drive, amazing. Concerts dominate the first weekend, but that divisional race, in my opinion, really was like a link from the 2 weekends to the racing. That is back. You're confirming it's back, because I talked to someone a week ago and they were like, I'm not really sure. And so we're confirming division racing back at the Stampede of Speed.
We are confirming it is back. So we have a very similar schedule to last year. It's practically the exact same. We'll have music Friday, Saturday, Sunday, divisional Monday, Tuesday, and the Texas Fall Nationals will start on Wednesday with the Sportsmen and with the Jegs All-Stars, which will be back this year again as well. So I agree with you, Joe. I think it was that piece of the missing puzzle. We really needed to just be able to figure out how to connect the 2 weekends well. And, we literally have kids racing, juniors all the way up to the pros here, and we can say we have almost every class available. We're very, very fortunate to be able to provide this for all of the sportsman racers that really are, they're the grassroots of this event and this sport, and they're what keep us going all year long. So we're just really glad that they get to come be a part. This year, they'll have the opportunity to win a belt buckle and, just be a part of the Stampede tradition.
Amazing. Amazing. I have some friends that are already mapping out their Jegs All-Stars points schedule to try to make it to the 2026 Jegs All-Stars at the Stampede of Speed. I know you're doing a champions dinner as well. This year is going to be a little different, as I understand it. Talk a little bit about the 40 years of the Texas Motorplex and why that is such a significant part of this year's Stampede of Speed. Maybe they can't come to the whole event, but the Fall Nationals, 40 years of the Motorplex, that's history.
It is, Joe. And that's something that I really wanted to focus on this year was all the incredible moments, all the relationships that have been built, all the family and friends that come to support us and to support the racers and the teams. And so this year, we really wanted to not miss the opportunity to thank people for what they've done for us. We're here because people have supported us. People come out and they buy tickets. People come out and come to the races. Racers, enter into our races. So this is a way for us to celebrate all the people that have made this a possibility for us. Our team works very hard all year long to make sure we have the best track prep, the best facility available. And, we're really excited to be able to celebrate that this year. There's some exciting things that we're coming out with, some little mini documentary videos just to tell the history of the Texas Motorplex, to tell some of the incredible moments, and just to celebrate, drag racing. It's it's really, my dad and I were up on stage earlier and we both got emotional. It's kind of shocking, but we, just thinking about all that God's done in our lives and how we're still here. The original business plan, Joe, was to be here 25 years. And so here we are 15 years longer than that. And we're still, hopefully setting, goals and, breaking standards and, reaching higher. I never want to quit. I want to keep pushing forward and doing new things and providing an opportunity for families to come together and celebrate, life and memories and all the things that makes drag racing special.
Amazing. No, I am super excited, and I understand you've got some driver personalities there as well. So we'll let you go work the room and speak with the members of the media. But Christie, I am genuinely excited to get back there for this major event. Hopefully all our listeners and viewers will, people around the country. I put the link in the chat section, but it is stampedeofspeed.com. And I encourage everyone to get tickets for the whole thing. Like if you're going to the Jegs All-Stars, get there for the concert. Make a 2-week, it's 12 days. Get there early, be a part of it, because it's going to be great. Christie, I'm super excited for you and the fam.
Thanks, Joe. It means so much to be able to talk on your show, and we appreciate you being a part of our team. Can't wait to see you in a few months.
Yes, 70 days, I believe. Thank you, Christie. Christie Meyer Johnson with us here on WFO Radio. But we're not done yet from the Stampede of Speed announcement. They've got drivers all over the place. You mentioned you saw Buddy Hull do the burnout in the Stampede of Speed machine, and they are going to be on track. We're going to connect with a few of the racers that are out there and see what they think, because the Texas Motorplex, how about that? It was a 25-year business plan. And that's why they're successful, because they have things like 25-year business plans. And after 25 years, they reevaluated. No, they keep going. Now you think about, what would it be like with no Texas Motorplex? Well, I don't know that we would have a ZMAX Dragway. The bar has to be set. You must have major league stadiums. And so it appears that our next guest is ready to go. Let's try to bring him on. He's all Rick Ware racing out. He's the newest Top Fuel racer for Rick Ware, Mr. Tony Schumacher. What's up, Tony? How are you?
Good. Got up nice and early this morning. One thing about Dallas is I live in Austin, 3.5-hour drive. Boom, here we go. Come down. And back in the day when this place was built, shoot, I was just a kid, but coming from Chicago out to this track, what a spectacular place.
It really is. And 40 years. It's going to be a major milestone. We talk about the food and the concerts and, getting the gear and everything. But in the end, someone is going to hoist a Wally, and we're hoping that you're going to be out for that. Can you confirm that? Do we have any information that is official that we can share?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be racing. We'll start at Indy this year. It's going to be Indy on for the next several years. I mean, we got a good deal, locked it in maybe after Richmond. And my sponsor, Haven's the owner, he came out to Richmond, stood next to the car and said, this is too good to not happen. So American Communication Construction's our sponsor, and that's he's at Tomball, Texas, basically fiber optic company. And the car's going to be very nice looking. I'm not going to say very beautiful red, white, and blue, like Texas is. Texas company, Texas owner, Texas employees doing Texas size work. So excited to get it going. Here we are in Dallas, getting ready for the Texas Motorplex race of the year.
It really is. The Stampede of Speed, guys, you definitely want to get your tickets, stampedeofspeed.com. Let's talk about Richmond, though. I spoke with Abe. He seemed really into it. And, you got him. We're pushing him out there. Like, get closer, Abe. The guy seems
to show him.
Right?
I mean, you got to feel it. This is one of those sports where you got to live it, man. And, he'd been to Houston. And he was born and raised in Dallas, went to high school in Dallas. But his company, being in Houston, he used to go to that race. And we've won that race a few times too. But, Texas Motorplex, this was the first race. I had been in, I believe, 8 or 9 finals. And this was the first one I won in Top Fuel, really leading to our first championship. So when I told him, I said, you're going to get to, Houston's gone. You're going to get to come out to the Dallas race with all your employees. I think that's really what sold it. And he has no idea what he's in for. The Houston track was a wonderful track, man. Angel Brothers, good people. but this place is spectacular. Really look forward to it. And, you know, it's 10 days, 2 weeks, basically. You come out for 2 full weekends. There's concerts. There's all kinds of events. For me, living in Austin, all my friends that have never been to a race before, and like I say it every time, even on your show, I go, they still think I drive a Chevelle and have a pack of smokes in my sleeve like James Dean. You say I drag race. They're like, oh, yeah, well, you got like a vet or something? Like, yeah, kind of. Come out and see a Top Fuel Cars live. Avon's going to be able to bring out all of his employees, tons of them at least, and all the people he works with. So that's kind of what we do here, man. It's really business to business type stuff. Selling a sponsor is really hard. Once you do it, keeping them's even harder, right? Rolling with it, but bringing drag racing people to a drag race, that's life changing. That's how you solidify long-term deals like we have with the Army. You know, 19-year deals that go on forever, or a SCAG partnership that is going to go on for a long, long time out here at the NHRA. So what we did is put the deal together. Guys like Billy Meyer, Christie Meyer, they sell it and they make it go for years. Man, places like this are epic, and we thank all the people that work so hard to keep our sponsors happy.
It occurs to me that the rumors of your demise are greatly exaggerated often. Like, you have been in the mind of people like, all right, well, that's going to be the one that knocks Tony Schumacher out of the sport. Like, that's, you know, his dad is the one who set up his, and you keep
right. I hear
back,
that all the time.
Tony. You keep coming back.
Well, first of all, my dad did a hell of a job. He raced when I was 5. I mean, guys like Billy Meyer got to run against him. That was a unique time, and he quit. But he wasn't racing when I started. He didn't even want me to race. But in my team building throughout all that time, to be able to work with him for 30 plus years, it's a gift that any father, any son would dream of having. You know, we see it in the Torrances. There's a lot of people out here that get to do the father-son thing. And my dad helped, but he did not give me the gift of all of it. We built the team together. And as the driver, we won 88 races. As a team owner, he won 88 races, you know, and we did it together by hiring people and working together. So for the fans, and I love it. I spend so much time with my wife talking about the haters. I thank God every day for the negative comments, because heck, if you got 16 cars, that means 1 out of 16 can like you. 15 ought to be hating you. If you only have a couple haters, you're doing something pretty good. And please keep sending footage. I got to remind all the haters out there, when you post, I love reading it. It inspires me, number one. Plus, I don't know if anyone knows about Facebook. The more you post, more I get paid. Keep rolling them in. I'll keep answering your lovely requests. Send it. I'll sit by the pool and respond.
I love it. No, listen, that is great to use that energy and transfer that energy into something positive. I'd like to hear you talk a little bit about Rick Ware, because he's, you know, still new to drag racing, but he's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and he's got a lot going on. And obviously Clay is your teammate, but Rick Ware seems to be someone who's in this for the long haul also.
First of all, they're both great guys. You know, Oberhofer too, the crew chief, you know, now Flynn. Like, really, Bonifani, everyone on that team, I'm growing to love more and more each day. I've always been a fan of Clay's, but Rick being new, and all of a sudden watch him flow into what we're doing. He is loving this, and it's getting better each day. I mean, Clay's been to 2 finals, now won a race, maybe 3 finals this year. Car's starting to roll. Rick's team's growing. His NASCAR's running better. Flat tracks are both winning first and second on a regular basis. Motocross bikes are running outstanding. And all of a sudden you got this expansion in Top Fuel. I think he feels blessed. I feel blessed to have him. I mean, at the beginning, when I found out I didn't have a deal this year, really caught off the internet, you know, I'm like, okay, where do we want to go? I talked to the Torrances, and I talked to Force, and I talked to Antron. I talked to, you know, Smoke, and I said, okay, what are the options? And Summer, my wife, actually said, she goes, you need to talk to Rick Ware. He always says hi. He's always got a smile on the face. He looks classy. He speaks well. And I saw him at an airport. I handed him a number. I said, I have some things that are happening. Can we talk? And I said, but I'd like for Clay to be on the phone. And I called Clay, and I said, Clay, I'd like for you to be on the phone. I do not want to think this is a weird deal. I've had it happen enough. And I don't want that. I don't want that at parents. I don't want anything like that. I said, you need to be there on the phone. And he goes, dude, I've been racing with you for 30 years. And I trust you. And I appreciate that because I feel like I've earned that. I feel like I've never, snuck around and done any of them dirty things. But, at the end of the day, I'm proud to be on the team with Clay. I'm proud to represent for Rick Ware, Robbie Benton, great president of the company. And I think all in all, overall, this package is coming together like we do every time. Like you said, when people think we're just fading away, I'm working. A lot of fans are like, well, man, you're on vacation. Guess where I met my sponsors? You got to put yourself out there. Here's what you can't do. And I'm not a teacher, and I'm not even an inspirational speaker like this. You can't look at the side of someone else's race car and figure out where you're going to get a sponsor. That's not fair. They already got it, right? You need to go out and find it. And it can't be another drag race company. They've already looked at everybody. They're already choosing who they want. It can't be another NASCAR company. They've evaluated the sport. Look outside the box. Use business sense, marketing. Go out there and then put yourself out there. You got to be out there to meet the people. It's not just a phone call thing. You got to shake hands. You got to let people see who you are. And it's been a blessing for me to be around so many good people. The partnership I have with Rack Financial and the credit card processing, he introduced me to Avon, but it's being out there. It's asking everybody. This is one of those sports where if you want it, you are going to have to sell. You got to go all the time, man. There is no stop. You might be off for a year or two, but it's not over, And when we put the deal together, then you got to hire the right people. Right. It's not like there's just a crew chief waiting out there. You got to sit until the right guy that fits you and your team is available and then jump at it, man. Pulling Rob Flynn, that's simply a miracle. What a great deal to have an opportunity so late in the year like that to come up. Now we'll start assembling people, and we'll go out and start at Indianapolis, blast the cart on the track as many times as we can before Indy. Really would love to be at Brainerd, but there's just no way. We bought both of Proc semis, had to undecal them. John Force doesn't want his stuff going down the road with Proc on the side of it, with us driving it. So there's a lot of legalities you go through, and then you got to re-decal it, design stuff, get a car, get parts. Now you got a semi. Picture this for all the fans out there. You got a car. You got a car, 2 semis, empty every single drawer. Not a bolt, not a part, not a wire loom, not a fitting, nothing. You got to put every single piece that a Clay would have or my old trailer would have. All those empty drawers you got to get full. So you got to do it while Clay's team is running 20 NHRA races with his guys until you get up and moving. So it's just a lot of moving parts, man. Thank God for good people. Thank God for guys like Rick Ware, Robbie Benton, Oberhofer, Bonifani for putting in extra effort on their days where they could be relaxed. So God bless you. And when we get to the races, man, we're going to pay you back with some trophies.
I love it. Tony, congratulations on all that. Thanks for the news and the detail on your team. Everybody is excited, and that is great stuff. Go talk to some media. Have fun at the Stampede of Speed press conference. Thank you for sharing with us.
Outstanding. Bye, guys.
Appreciate it. There he goes, Tony Schumacher, with us here on WFO Radio. We're going to continue to connect. Also want to remind everybody, Mark Beatty from Red Line Oil is going to be joining us. Going to talk about Redline. We're going to geek out on drag racing. We're going to have a nice conversation, Mark and myself. He's down there. Guys, you can put your comments in the comment section as well, like Walt Walker. He says, I'll be there. He's convinced. We sold a ticket. No, Walt, like you're coming to all the drag race stuff, but why don't you come to the concerts, man? Why don't you come out, do the cattle drive, come to the concerts, hang out. We'll be there for the divisional race. That whole deal. It's going to be great. Walt Walker. We will see. It is going to be fun. And I'm very excited about the divisional race as well. Very excited. Last year, I got to drive Bo Butner's Super Comp car. A lot of people telling me I need to bring Project Pontiac. Too long a tow, guys. Too long a tow. All right, let's go back out to the Texas Motorplex Stampede of Speed press conference with the guy who did the burnout, Mr. Buddy Hall. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Hey, guys. Hey, doing great. What a cool deal here at the Motorplex. I mean, this is really how you kick off the 40th anniversary. We get that 40th anniversary nitro funny car out there, and that's our shop car, and we were blessed with the opportunity to wrap that thing up in the 40th anniversary livery. And it's just killer. You know, if you're watching and you're going to come out here this year and be a part of the Stampede of Speed, the 40th anniversary, you'll get to see that car. It's a true throwback, but got a modern flair to it. And, you know, we went out there and we put big percentage in the tank, and I did a 450, 500 foot burnout, which is just something we can't do if we're really racing. So it was cool. It'll definitely make for some cool footage. We're having a great time.
No, I love it. I love it. I think the thing is spectacular. Great look. The logo is tremendous. I can't wait to get T-shirts and hats and all kinds of gear. But you're going to, is that the scheme you're going to run out the race also, or that's just going to be on display?
No, that's just on display. That, like I said, that's our shop car. And, you know, we're blessed to have that in my shop. And TJ Say is actually the owner of that car, you know, Say Logistics. And we run it out of my shop. John Hill is the usual driver of that car. So we were just blessed to have it, you know, have it on hand and be able to use it as that exhibition car. And, a lot of fun.
Awesome. Guys, if you're out there watching, share the show, repost on X, wherever you're viewing from, because we've got all kinds of great news. Buddy, all right, let's talk a little bit of Western Swing, buddy. You know, you're getting everybody, we're trying to motivate people to go to the Stampede of Speed. Christie just freaked me out. 70 days, not long. The season has flown by. We're going to Seattle. We're going to be up there in Muckleshoot. We're going to go to Sonoma. Everybody's going to be having wine and prosciutto. And then Brainerd Indy. Just like that, the U.S. Nationals are upon us. So look back on your season and give us, you know, some highs, some lows. Beating Austin Prock, back-to-back races, obviously got to be the high point. Where is this team now based on where you were at the start of the season?
Yeah. Well, you know, first of all, you know, wow, the season has gone fast, as you mentioned. You know, it seems like just yesterday we were packing our stuff and headed to the Gator Nationals, and now we're looking at, you know, going to Seattle. So I don't know where it's going, but either way, you know, it's been a great season for us. I learn every single time I get in the race car, and definitely a highlight of my entire racing career is beating Austin Prock, you know, first round, 2 races in a row. You know, they're tough, and they truly have earned the number 1 on the side of that race car. So to beat those guys was super cool. You know, we've won a few rounds of racing this year, and that's really important to us. You know, to me, winning is everything. You know, I'm not out here to do anything besides win, right? It's got to be the goal. If you're a drag racer and your heart's in the right place, your mind's in the right place, you want to win. So for us to, you know, put some round win belts under, you know, or put some round wins under our belt this year was a big deal. And we're not done yet either. You know, our next goal, we need to go to a semifinal round. That's going to put us in the Mission Too Fast, Too Chasey, the following race, and we get a shot at winning a race within a race. So we have goals. We have a brand new race car, and it's a way better race car than we had before. And we're figuring that again, you know, we're figuring that car out again, which is just part of the process as well. So we've had a great season. We've had a learning season. We've had wins. Of course, we've had our struggles, you know. And I went to the beach there in Bristol, which was not cool. And we really don't know why. It was a crazy anomaly with my parachutes, but that's part of driving a nitro funny car. You know, you recover, the team works hard, and you're back to the next race. It's just what we do. And we got a great team behind us. You know, Big Jim's been out here 75 years. We have incredible supporters, Moon Eyes, Obscure, True Brand, you know, Blaze, and these people really, truly support us. Without them, we can't do what we're doing. And I'm very thankful.
That's amazing. No, I'm super excited. You've been a big part of the Stampede of Speed. That's where we kind of hung out, Maddie, as well. A few years ago, you're there for 10 days. You really get to know people. It's amazing. It's amazing to see how you've evolved your program to where you are. Buddy, good luck. Thank you very much. We'll see you, enjoy your weekend home, but we'll see you in Seattle real soon.
Thanks, Joe. You know, I'm still waiting on one thing from you. You know
what's that? What? No.
See you in that Pontiac.
You want to see what you froze up? I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. You got to say it again.
I need to get a piece of you in the Project Pontiac.
You want to race?
I've been wanting to race you. You said, "Oh, we'll find you a car to drive." You know what? Hey, I'm waiting on you.
Well,
and I want to take a light with Joe Castello. So
all right,
I'm ready. You tell me
we
when.
can definitely make that happen at some point. I just got the car back together. A little story I'll tell later, but we refined some refining going on. But now it better be together for the last time for a long time. So we'll see.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right, buddy. Be good, buddy.
Thanks for having me, Joe. It's always good to meet with you. Thank you so much.
There he goes, Buddy Hull, with us here on WFO Radio from the Stampede of Speed press conference. We got one more driver. He's going to join us, and then we're going to talk Redline Oil. The driver who's going to join us, he's got, like, I can't tell you who he is, but he's got 110 career victories. You're going to have to guess. He'll be joining us after this.
For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
Looking to replace your OEM diesel particulate filter or diesel oxidation catalyst? Look no further than DPF XFit, a complete line of aftermarket diesel particulate filters and diesel oxidation catalyst designed as an exact fit OEM replacement with all makes coverage for light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks. With thousands of units in stock, we ship the same or next day, and be sure to check out our comprehensive reverse OEM lookup tool. Always new, never remanufactured. For more information, be sure to visit dpfxfit.com. That's dpfxfit.com.
Welcome back to WFO Radio. Joe Castello. We're going to go back out to the Stampede of Speed press conference. Could you figure it out when I said 110 wins? Because, you know, there's a whole bunch of people it could have been, but this is the guy who it is, Mr. Greg Anderson. What's up, GA? How are you?
Hi, Joe. How come you're not here?
I'm well, because I am here digitally. This is it. This counts.
I see. There's no place else to be today, Joe. This is global.
No, you're right. It is global. That's the thing. People in Australia are all over this. We're doing it. This is a big deal. Stampede of Speed. This track, your history, 40 years. Just talk a little bit about the Plex.
Pretty darn cool, isn't it? It's the original super track. I can remember back, I guess I was working with Warren Johnson back then when Billy built this place. And we all thought, is the guy nuts? There was no place, no drag strip like this in the world, and nobody would have the guts to do something like that. Could drag racing support a megaplex like this? So we all thought he was nuts, but we were excited as could be that he was doing it. And here we are 40 years later. The place is still just as great as it ever was. He's really, honestly, to my knowledge, never had to put a blade or a shovel to any part of the race surface itself. It's held up perfectly for 40 years. We as racers, we know exactly what we're going to get when we come here every year. The racetrack is what it is. It's a great surface. Doesn't change year to year, no matter if it's hot, no matter if it's cold. It's the Motorplex. And you know, it's not like you're scratching your head. What are we going to do this year? It's a new surface. It's a new this. It's a different that. It's the same racetrack every year we come back here. Probably will be 20, 30 years from now still. So, you know, not only did he have a great vision to build the place, but somehow either he's a great damn engineer or he hired a bunch of great engineers and they figured out how to build something that would last and it doesn't go away. So I don't know if that's the technology they got here from Texas roads or what it is, but that go through the heat, go through the cool. But he's figured it out and it's lasted perfectly for 40 years. And I fully expect it's going to be around a lot longer than this with the same great service to race on. So great place to race and all the great things they do surrounding the event. They make the racer feel like a king every time we come to town. And he gets it. You know, I brag all the time about the Bill Baders of the world. Well, Billy Meyer is absolutely on par, if not ahead of what the Bader family does at Norwalk there. They take great pride in their facility, great pride in taking care of the fan, taking care of the racer. And it's just it's a great experience every year. So here we are a couple of months away from the big event, but it feels like it's already starting. We're ramping it up already, you know, for a great event. So anybody out there watching, listening, do not miss it this year. It's going to be great. It's going to be the best one ever. And hopefully I'll still be here to partake in it. So got a great run going so far this year, Joe, but I look forward to this race every year. It's on my calendar to try and come back and win a cowboy hat. Obviously, I'm not a true born cowboy, but for me to put on that cowboy hat at the end of the day is pretty doggone impressive, and it's a great feeling. And, you know, for a day, I could feel like a true Texan.
So on that note, obviously leading the points, but the regular season points title is a lot of money on the line. You got to finish the job there. But let's go back to this race 1 year ago. You and Dallas in the semifinal, and I will tell you that I thought like if Dallas beats Greg here, that pretty much seals it for Dallas in that moment. And that's not how it went. I think a lot of people maybe expected you to try to lock one down for the team and just lock it in for KB Titan. Instead, you beat Dallas. You lose to Jeg in the final, but in the end, you ended up winning the title. So go back to that run against Dallas, and the competitor Greg Anderson beat the businessman Greg Anderson in that moment, I think.
Yeah, unfortunately, Joe, I failed miserably at business one-on-one. I've never been much of a businessman, but I like to race. I like to win. Obviously, so does Dallas Glenn. And just like, you know, the pride you have when you beat Dallas Glenn, he's got just as much pride when he beats me, and he wouldn't want it any other way. We've never done that here at KB Racing. Like I say, we're not businessmen. We're out here to race. We're out for the pride of winning the event. And I guess that one was a pretty pivotal round because it kept me alive in the championship chase and ended up coming down to the last race, the last run down the racetrack at Pomona for all the marbles between Dallas and I. So, yeah, if I look back to that day here at the Motorplex, if it wouldn't have been for that win over Dallas, I wouldn't have won the championship. Dallas Glenn would be your champion. So amazing how things happen. And you know, when you either win or lose at the end of the year by a minor number of points, you look at yourself and you say, there's so many ways that I could have changed that. I could have made more points here or made more there. It truly is. It's not about one race, Joe. It's about the entire season. You got to do well every race you go up to, and don't ever go up there, you know, thinking it just doesn't matter, because every round counts, every point counts, and every competitor you race, and they want blood. They want to whoop your butt. So you better be ready when you go up there. And I'm trying to keep my head in the game, Joe. Trying to act like I'm not the age I am, and so far it's working out okay. I'm hanging with the crowd. I'm keeping up with traffic, and we'll just see how much longer we can do it. But you know, maybe Dallas again this year will be a turning point for us, one way or the other. So looking forward to it.
And speaking of Dallas Glenn, you know, he's 50 behind you, and then Hartford 313 behind you. So it's you and Dallas for the regular season championship. Then we have the big reset. But I do want to ask you while I got you on here, right? We got to talk Corey Reed for a second. Like, what does it mean that Corey got that win? He got through you, which has been hard to do, but you've got to know him. We heard him talk a little bit about you, as you can imagine. You know, you're kind of like this you know, on Mount Olympus figure for any drag racing fan. What has it been like to work with Corey Reed for you now that he and Joey got this win, and you know they're fan favorites clearly? What was that like for you?
Well, it was cool. Obviously, Joe, you said it a million times. I don't like to lose. I go up there trying to beat everybody I can, and for Corey to get around me and put me in the trailer and then go on and close the deal and win the event, that was a super proud moment for me. And I've said it before, a lot of the team that I've got, you know, racing with me, I feel like a proud papa some days, and I certainly did on that day. And for Corey to win that race, it means a ton for KB Titan. It means a ton for Jim Whiteley, his father. It means a ton for Corey Reed. Corey's obviously a different breed than, say, Greg Anderson or even Eric Anders, and I guarantee that win right there and what Corey did that day, that's going to attract a lot of new fans to the Pro Stock class. That's a fan that I probably can't reach, probably a fan that even Eric Anders can't reach, but Corey Reed can. And, you know, it's like we were missing out on that group there. And now I think we've got them thanks to Corey. And you know, when you get a shot in the arm like that and you win an event like that, there's no telling what we could be saying about Corey Reed in 3-4 races from now. He could become a championship favorite, you know, odds-on favorite to win. So we'll see what this creates. Obviously, to get your first one is always the hardest, and somehow they usually get a little easier after that. So we'll see. He's, as far as his attitude and his mood, it's the best I've ever seen it right now. So hopefully this is the shot in the arm he needed, and he's going to continue to be a threat the rest of the year and you know, give us one more thorn in the side to worry about, but it's a good thorn, Joe.
There you go, Greg. Well, congratulations on all that. You know, another KB Titan race winner out there. But today we're celebrating the Stampede of Speed, 70 days away. I'm super excited. We'll see you in Seattle in a week. But thank you for spending time with us here on WFO.
Sounds good, Joe. You have a great day down there in Florida.
I will, Greg. You enjoy your time over there at the Stampede of Speed. All right, later. Greg Anderson with us here on WFO Radio. the 6-time champ, 110 wins. You heard from Buddy Hull. You heard from Tony Schumacher. We asked all the vital questions. You got the breaking news. You now know many things that we did not know at the start of this. Clint Black is the headliner. It's all happening. But what about oil? What about Redline Oil? And what does Mark think about what's going on in the world of drag racing and all of these things? It's funny you ask, because we are going to have the answers. Mark Beatty from Redline Synthetic Oil going to join us right after this.
Redline Oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Redline Oil, formulated to win.
Formulated to win.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Proven by me.
Proven by me.
Redline Oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
And he joins us now from the Redline Oil Studios. What's up, Mark? How are you?
I'm doing really good. How about you, Joe?
Good, good. So we just learned a lot. I can see you down there in the ready room. We know when Tony Schumacher is starting. We know about the operation. We know where he got his trucks and trailers. We got a lot of information. I know you love the nitro ranks, and part of having you on, we're going to learn a little bit about Redline Oil, but we're going to put a face to the logo. You've got a tremendous passion for drag racing and motorsports in general. Where did that come from?
You know, it started when I was really young. You know, I went to Vandermeer Speedway. I was born and raised in Denver, so it all started at Vandermeer Speedway, and I went up there for a bracket race just on a Saturday. I was just a teenager, and it just I got hooked. I got hooked instantly, and the rest is history. I've had the opportunity to spend some time. I toured with the USAC super modified car for a while. Did a time in road racing between Formula V's and Formula Fords, and so I've kind of touched a lot of aspects. But you know, drag racing just I don't know, it just kind of stuck. You know, and then I was fortunate enough to spend 30 some years working with and for V Gaines, and it was really fun when you're doing all the Motorplex people or whatever, because the Wally right here to my right is when we won Pro Stock at the Motorplex in the year 2000. So it was kind of fun when we were doing that. I'm thinking, well, there's my Wally. So kind of a neat deal. So.
Very neat. Very neat. And you're a pro stock guy also. So it's not just all about nitro as much as that's a big deal. If you were working with V, that's some hardcore stuff. We miss him. I miss him. I know a lot of other people miss him being out there on a regular basis. Just a cool character.
Yeah, I still talk to him about once a week, and just friggin' love the man. Like I said, spent 30 some years with him, and it was tough. It was tough when the opportunity came for me to venture to Houston, Texas, and the Redline Oil deal. It meant that I had to leave my buddy, and so we had lots of conversations about that before I left. But he is he taught me a lot. He taught me so much about business and so much about how to treat people and the way to act and stuff. And so I owe him a great deal.
Amazing. All right, so let's get into it a little bit. You guys are on board with WFO Radio, and each week we're playing spots and we're talking a little bit about it. Buddy Hull just referenced, my sportsman racing, and I think you and I had a conversation in reference to Larry Spider-Man McBride being on a couple of weeks ago, and he said a line that you repeated, and I guess it's true, but this is what I want to know about, right? Like Redline is one of the first big name synthetic motor oils that I remember in drag racing. A Redline. There are a lot of oils that are good oils, but some stand out, and that's where you guys position yourself. Talk a little bit about the product and how you got to that level.
Well, Redline started in 1979, and our original chemist, Roy Howell, is still with us, and he's still a part of our life every day out in California. And he had a vision. He understood some of the challenges because he was a car guy in the past, and he understood some of the challenges. And so, from the very onset, they set the standard that every lubricant product that they want to make or that we're ever going to make is all going to be a true PAO ester full synthetic product. In America, the term full synthetic gets a little bit watered down because you can actually start with a petroleum group 1 or group 2 oil, throw in enough additives and call yourself a synthetic oil. But see, nowhere else in the world can you do that. You can't do that in Europe. You can't do that anywhere. So, to be a true synthetic, you have to be PAO and ester based. And so they set out starting the company that way, and that's exactly the way it's always going to stay, as a true full synthetic. So it does, to a degree, sets us apart. I mean, Larry McBride is right. In this day and age, I'll never say a bad word about any competitor that we have. There are a lot of quality oils out there, but it just depends on what you're looking for, how hard you're pushing it, what you want the results to be, and some of those things, and how does it handle fuel dilution and all kinds of things like that, especially in the top fuel ranks and things like that. So we're in a really good spot. We've stuck by our guns of who we want to be, and to be perfectly honest with you, Joe, it honestly makes my job really easy because the product speaks for itself.
I see the logo everywhere. And you do help a lot of nitro teams, but I want to talk about my audience. And some of them have got performance cars, and some of them have got road cars, and some of them want to support the show. I tell them to get water wetter, like there's a lot of different products. But talk about how using drag racing is helpful in bringing on brand awareness when people are going to AutoZone.
Yeah, it's like the old saying, win on Sunday, buy on Monday. A lot of they use that for a lot of the manufacturers, right? Well, for us, it's really the same thing. I mean, we take our technology that helps race teams win on Sunday, and that same technology works for street applications, truck applications, the daily driver type of applications. Now, the chemistry might be a little bit different because, like in race oils, you don't necessarily worry about detergents and things like that. But on the street oils, obviously you change the chemistry around to where it fits the application. So yeah, we have a whole line of oil products. We call it our hot rod oils or our blue label oils that are designed for street vehicles, motorhomes, tow vehicles, things along those lines. And like water wetter, like you mentioned. I mean, water wetter was actually the product that created that entire super coolant category. I mean, it was the first one ever out there. And so, we've obviously continued to expand on that. We now make antifreeze that has water wetter technology and things along those lines. And over the years, of course, our competitors have caught hold of that, and they're introducing products and they're doing some of the same thing. But we were the originator, and we take that category really serious. We're always constantly paying attention and seeing what the next steps may be, and that's for the street use, for the track use, and things like that. So it's a big part of who we are. We're in a lot of the big box stores, and we're very, very grateful for that. And they hold our feet to the fire to make sure of, okay, what's coming up next? What do you have now? What's in the pipeline? Things along those lines. So racing is the fun part. Racing is the part that has the big, bright, shiny light on it, the part that we all love. But the step to the street and step to the tow vehicles, that's the important part.
Absolutely. Lex June out there shouting out. Mark is amazing and has a lot of heart for the sport. One of the people you're helping. Blake asks a question, and if you're open to questions, guys, you got a motor oil question for Mark, put it up in the chat. Mark, if you had the chance to race in Top Fuel someday, would you like to do it? So we got Lex, who's racing in Top Fuel, and we got Blake, who wants to know, like, what about it? Are you a frustrated racer in any way?
Oh, let me just put it this way. I think I know my place. I helped a long time ago. I ran Comp Eliminator with the guy by the name of Joe Castello out of Division 5. And we ran a Biacano dragster, and he begged for me to drive the car. And it's just like, I think I got in at one time and made a pass, and it was just like, nah, you know what? I know my place. I'm okay. I love the starting line. I love working on things. So, but I did get a chance to warm up a Top Fuel car one time, and it was phenomenal. It was seriously cool.
Yes, that I have not had that experience. I'm honestly, I'm a little afraid, right? A little afraid. Like I wouldn't want to mess something up, or I wouldn't want to be responsible for something that damaged the team. The sound and being in there, and wanted to and all that. I'm sure I could do it, but it seems like a very intense experience.
Yeah, it's like you don't ask the question, "Hey, what's this button do?" as you're pushing the button. That's not
Right.
the thing to do.
Don't do that. Don't
Yeah.
do that. So let's talk
Yeah.
nitro oil. Like you guys have got, racing oils and automatic transmission fluids, and I'm going to ask about a few of those fuel additives, something that people can support at home without having a nitro top fuel dragster. But let's talk about nitro oil. What is different about it? I know it's thick, and I know like flash fire suppression and all of that safety is all built in to the oil that you provide your teams.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, it's we call it nitro 70. So, in the viscosity terms, it rates around a 70 weight viscosity oil. But probably one of the biggest things, Joe, that we constantly have to work on is and I'll tell you, Bobby Lagana challenged me a couple of years ago, and he says, "Hey, Mark," he says, we all know nitro 70 is the oil of choice out here, that folks are using, but we're making so many changes on fuel cars every single year or every single race." He says, "We're pushing the envelope," and his question was, what are you doing with the oil? Are you keeping up with us? Because we don't want to get to the point where we eclipse that point of where the oil's at. And so, when Bobby asks you a question like that, you do some hard looking and searching or whatever and stuff. And so we pay a lot of attention to that, Joe. And probably the biggest thing on nitro oil that we're having to pay attention right now is it goes back to fuel dilution, because the teams are putting so much nitro into the motors that, especially at idle and some of those other times, it's just there's physically no way that the car can burn all the nitro that they're putting into it. So obviously it makes its way into the oil pan, and so it dilutes the oil. So that's a really, really big part of what we pay attention to in nitro 70.
Very interesting. Yeah, like that's an aspect. So many parts and pieces are one off, and I know there are some companies working on making some of the parts last longer. And if you think of the evolution of those nitro engines from where they were, say, 20 years ago to where they are now, I think it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, it's just like no comparison, of how far they've come. And when you sit and talk with the crew chiefs and learn about what they're trying to do and why they're trying to do it, and more important, where they're trying to do it on the racetrack, it's mind-boggling. I mean, you truly have to be, in my opinion, these guys are all like serious engineers. Everybody talks about how many engineers there are on an F1 car and everything else like that. It's like, I would challenge any F1 person whatsoever. Why don't you come try and tune a nitro car and go down the racetrack? Yeah, it's only 1,000 feet, but I'd like to see you try that, because the level of intelligence and planning and thinking is staggering.
It really is. Okay, Walt says, did Mark just say they moved to Houston, or was he just talking about racing trip? What about that?
No, I moved to Houston. I left Colorado and moved down here to Houston when I took the Red Line Oil job.
Excellent. It's part of Phillips 66 parent company.
Yep, parent company of Phillips 66, and their headquarters are here in Houston. So this is home. It's taken a little bit to get used to the weather.
What's that road? Petroleum Alley or something? There's a name. There's a name for it. What's it called?
Oh yeah, there is. It's oh shoot, I'll think about it. It's like I can't think of what it. Yep, yeah, exactly.
No, I've been there.
Energy corridor.
Energy corridor, right? What did I call it? Petroleum Alley. Energy corridor. All of the bigs are right there. Boom, boom, boom. It's amazing. The people that are, powering the world are all there on one area. All right. So transmission fluid. There's an area that is very important to the sportsman racer, because you're on trans brakes, you're doing different stuff. We don't often talk about redline oil and transmission fluid, but you do transmission fluids. Talk a little bit about that, and who is the clientele? I know a lot of the BMW guys love your stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we offer when it comes to let's talk automatic transmission for a second. We offer a broader range of automatic transmission fluids than what most of our competitors do because we've kind of fine-tuned a lot of it and tried to make it very, very specific. Obviously heat is a big problem, especially in the pro mod world. The guys and gals that are doing that twin turbo application, because they have to spool both those turbos up or whatever. Heat is a big deal. It's nothing for transmission fluid in those cars to be pushing the 800-degree mark, as they're staging the car and then run down the track. So transmission fluid is very, very, very sophisticated. We have a series of chemicals and formulas that we use in that. We make, for the comp eliminator or super stock type cars, we have a lightweight transmission fluid where it's just thinner and lighter, still does all the protection that it needs, but it just takes less horsepower to make things operate and things along those lines. So in the automatic transmission fluid world, it's crazy how sophisticated and the characteristics that they all need to be. Manual transmission, same type of deal. We have lots of manual transmission products, and that's where a lot of the BMW folks, yeah, it's definitely the transmission fluid of choice. Once again, we're PAO ester based, so some of our manual transmission fluids, we actually have to make sure that they're not so slippery. We have to kind of change the additive pack around because in some applications the synchros don't like something that's crazy slippery. So we do all kinds of testing and all kinds of track testing and bench testing and things like that to make sure that we have that right. And then we lean on our teams, Joe. It's like Bobby Lagana challenged me on Nitro 70. It's like, James Clay at Bimmer World, and his BMW, he's constantly challenging us because, they're going to carbon fiber synchros, or they're doing this or they're doing that, and what type of fluid do we have, or how can we tweak it, to fit this and that. So we rely very heavily on our teams to talk with us and to work with us. Justin at Carmack from Carmack Engineering is just doing a bunch of bench testing on differentials. He makes one of the folks that makes a 11-inch third member differential that I know all the pro mod guys run, a lot of the pro stock guys run. So he's been doing a lot of bench testing on gear fluid. And he's so sophisticated to the point where, he has fluid broke down to which one protects bearings versus which one protects the ring and pinion gear versus which fluids protect both. I mean, he's so sophisticated that he's kind of divided up his rear end to make sure that the right fluid is happening the right way. And so, we've got our 8250 gear oil that seems to be the oil of choice for most all the pro mod rear ends. The Tuteros, they're a big part of helping us develop that and things like that. So, Ty and Todd, we lean on heavily, and we're the factory fill and all the tie drive units with our automatic transmission fluid. So the teams make a huge difference, Joe. We'd be lost without them.
That's the best R&D you're going to do. I mean, obviously you got your laboratory guys, that's like first, but then you got to give it to the racers so that they can try to break it or figure out what is interesting about it. You mentioned too slippery. I've heard that a lot lately, and it was interesting to hear you address it, that there are certain circumstances, like most casual observers might not realize that can be an issue.
Yeah, it definitely can. And we, believe it or not, a lot of times we run into that when people say switch from brand XYZ, ABC or whatever, even on motor oil, they'll fill us up, or they'll fill up their car with redline oil, and they'll give us a call and say, hey, my oil pressure is down. I lost 10 or 15 pounds of oil pressure, whatever number that may be. And so they think, what's going on? Well, it's pressure, oil pressure is when you think about it in its most basic term, it's built up resistance, right? I mean, that's what creates pressure, is built up resistance. So when you switch to something that's more slippery, you're going to have less resistance. Therefore, you're going to end up with, in some cases, less oil pressure. So it's not uncommon for somebody to have to switch, when you switch to a full PAO ester based deal. If you got an external pump, you may have to give it, a quarter of a screw to build some oil pressure back up, or make some changes like that. So yeah, you definitely have to pay attention. And a lot of the OEM stuff, you got to pay very close attention to how rear ends and transmissions are being made right now, because you can be too slippery, and it can create problems.
Yeah, the rear end issue that we had at the end of last year was knock wood, right? Like knock wood. I haven't heard it. I'm not saying it's not happening, but we haven't been down for it too much.
Yeah, not like it was last year. There's no question about that. So yeah, that was ugly for everybody involved, right? There was no winners in that deal.
Yeah, let's not speak it back into existence.
Yeah, there you go. I'm
okay.
down. I'm with
Mark
you.
Banks with another question for you. This is interesting. Thoughts on motor oil for alcohol funny cars, alcohol supercharged engines, we'll say, and can oil be reused after extracting moisture from oil? So I have heard about guys that like boil their oil and get the moisture out of it because alcohol is so, speaking of dilution, what is your take on all of that?
Well, there's a couple things. We have a lot of alcohol teams out there and it's kind of torn between our 60 weight and our 70 weight. And what most all of them find is that after they make a run, they'll drain out the oil and they'll take the pan and they'll set it aside, and after a period of time, they'll actually see the separation. The alcohol will actually separate from the oil and it'll be a layer on top. And so most teams will pour that off. And then there are definitely teams out there that'll pour that off and just simply reuse that oil for the next run, or they'll take that used oil, pour it in a drum, and take it back to their shop and let it separate a little bit longer over time, and then pour off the alcohol. It works same with our 60 weight and with our 70 weight. In the nitro world, a lot of the teams will have warm up oil. So they'll just keep going back to the same batch for warm up oil, then put fresh oil in, to go down to the racetrack. We definitely have heard a lot of people out there forever and ever and ever have burned off the methanol or the alcohol in the oil. And we get asked that question a lot, and it's kind of one of those deals where it's like, do we endorse doing that? Well, liability wise and as a company wise, there's no way that we can, because there's about 1,000 things that can go wrong. Are there people doing that successfully and using oil over and over again? Yeah, there absolutely is, and that fact doesn't stress us out. It's not hurting the oil in it. It works just fine, but I'll never endorse somebody doing that. There's just a lot of things that could go haywire on you.
No, I understand.
That makes
Right.
sense.
Well,
Yeah.
exactly. We want to keep it pure as best as you can. All right. Before we let you go, let's talk a little drag racing 2025. We just kind of got stoked about the Stampede of Speed coming up.
Yeah.
We're going to Pacific Raceways in 2 weeks, Sonoma, Brainerd, Indy, just like that. The countdown is upon us. We're going to be deciding regular season championships. As someone who is out there involved and walking around and keeping up with everybody on a regular basis, what sticks out about drag racing 2025 this season so far?
It's there just seems to be no limit to where these cars are going to go, right? I mean, some of the mile an hour numbers that keep popping up are just, they're awe-inspiring. It's crazy. And like I said, a couple of the maybe mechanical issues that they had last year, obviously it seems to have gotten better. So that's a relief. So it makes better side-by-side running and racing. And on a selfish note, I mean, for us, obviously, new to us this year, with the NHRA is that we came up with that Crew of the Year award and program. And so I'm paying really close attention to that and having a lot of fun. And I hope the crews out there, and I hope all the crew members, kind of appreciate that, because we love our drivers. No, Ed, we love our drivers, but at the end of the day, we're kind of roll up our sleeves crew guys. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't want to drive a car. I'd rather work on a top fuel car than drive one, because I'm kind of that. So it was really fun when we had the opportunity to come up and do this Crew of the Year program with the NHRA team. So I'm paying close attention to that and look forward to that at the end of the season.
Yes. We get asked that a lot. Like, now we got something we got to keep track of. These crew guys are very into it. The most unsung of all personalities in drag racing. They're turning a car 4 times to get to the winner's circle, et cetera, and so on. Any kind of love that we can bestow upon them is a good deal. But now the Crew of the Year, they're fighting it out for that one.
Yeah, it's just kind of a fun deal that, hopefully they all get a little bit of coin in their pocket at the end of the year after the bank, or the winning teams do, and stuff. And so it's just kind of fun to see that. But for us as a brand, it was just, in a roundabout way, it was just a way of saying, thank you to the crew people that are doing everything. Thank you to the folks that may be not necessarily on TV all the time and have the chance to talk and things like that. So, as a brand, it cut right to the core of who we are, and it's really, really, really a cool deal.
Absolutely, Roscoe. Underlining our commentary. Crew guys are the best.
Yeah.
Mark, thank you very much for joining us on WFO Radio. I really appreciate it. It was really cool, granular, how it came together to get together on this deal. But I appreciate it. We've worked really hard to get to where we are as WFO Radio, where people are going to hear Tony Schumacher give a schedule. People are going to hear good and the bad, whatever it is. We're going to talk about it. We're going to acknowledge that it happened, and we're going to try to sort it out and figure out what's right with a passion for drag racing. So I really appreciate you being involved.
Man, it's been an honor, my friend. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. And we'll see you soon.
Okay, see you guys
later. Mark Beatty of Redline Oil with us here on WFO Radio. And what's your homework? Go get some water wetter. Right? Depending on your project car, what have you got that dictates what you can get? But I think everybody can use a product like water wetter, which is going to help your cooling system. But of course, look at your car and your manual, all of those things. Very exciting people. Look at this guy. Great show as always. And Greg is just signing in. He's like, good afternoon, Joe. What's up, Greg? Put your comments in the comment section, guys. Let's see what you got to say. We got a couple of minutes for some free-form conversation. We'll see what's out there. Of course, we can talk Stampede of Speed, talk a little Redline Oil. We can get into all of that as we continue on. It's been very exciting so far, and there is more to come. We'll be back after this on WFO.
Foggit is a high-performance fogging oil designed especially for internal combustion engines. Foggit can be used by everyone. If you have a lawnmower, a jet ski, a motorcycle, a tractor, a high-performance car, a classic car, racing vehicles, if it has a cylinder wall, it needs Foggit.
Oh, yes, he is right. Don't forget, guys, Life's a Drag, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Life's a Drag. Jason Logan, Elon Werner. Most of the time they're live. Sometimes they're pre-recorded. It is available in the WFO Radio podcast feed and also on YouTube. So subscribe, click the bell, and don't miss a show. I am enjoying it greatly because it's different angles of stuff that I know about, right? Like things that I noticed that. They noticed it too. What are they talking about? You're getting a lot of inside details of the circus, something that I think is undercovered. The circus, what's going on behind the scenes, the travel, who's stuck in an airport, whose flight got delayed, why did they scream at someone? All of these things. So check out Life's a Drag, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 5:30 Central, live on WFO in our feeds. And after the fact in the podcast feed or in the archive. But you got to subscribe and click the bell on all of that. enable notifications. All right, a couple things before we get to your comments, right? Like, for instance, if you're a WFO Patreon, the Hear It From Heiner show is available to you. Michael Heiner, Jolie Stanfield was on there, did a nice little guest appearance. Think about that, the implications. Elite family, Heiner's KB Titan family, and they talked it out. It was pretty interesting. That is up there. Patreon.com/WFO Radio. And we brought on several members. And if you sign on for a year, we'll give you a t-shirt, which is cool and easy. Mentioned Foggett, Gary Stinnett and his company. I'm super excited to have Project Pontiac back together again. And the one thing that I'm always going to be doing is using the product Foggett to preserve the cylinder finish and valve seats and anything that could get some surface rust. It's amazing how fast that happens. It's available at Summit Racing Equipment, Foggett, FOGGIT.com. Also, Bernie Speed Shop, BORNYZZ.com. I say that because some people cannot see the logos we have on the screen. They're listening audio only. Bernie's, it's not spoken how it's spelled. But one thing you know is they've got 100,000 square feet. They're located in Ocala, Florida, and they've got great and amazing cars. They do movie cars for a lot of people. So if you need a frame-off restoration or just the basics, they can do it at Bernie's. Go to bernies.com. Josh Hart and Britt have got it really going in the right direction at Bernie's Speed Shop. Certainly. HusseyPerformance.net. So I got the headers back from Jet Hot. Super excited about my coated headers. In my mind, I was thinking about how they were, rusting away, and I got them coated, and now they're back on the car. But the best thing is I used Hussey Performance gaskets, and I used the aluminum ones that David Allen sent me. The material ones are in the trailer, but did I say aluminum? I meant copper. The copper head gaskets that he sent me. But the thing that's super cool, check this out. David sent these. These are Project Pontiac copper exhaust gaskets / keychains. Isn't that cool? I just haven't given them away yet. I'm going to have to come up with a way to give these away. But everybody wants a copper exhaust gasket because they come off so easy and they go back on so easy. Whatever you've got, they can make them. They can make them rapidly, and they'll ship out either tomorrow or the next day. So check out HusseyPerformance.net. Call David Allen and the team and tell them you heard about it on WFO Radio. It's just that simple. They're doing a great job. Our great friends at CWT Industries and, of course, FTI Performance. FTI loosened up the converter. The converter's back in. Unified all the transmission parts, so now that they all match, I have genuine spares. Very excited about working with the folks at FTI Performance. Can't wait to get the car back out on the track. Total Seal piston rings and Jesse converters, torque calibration services, everybody that supports WFO Radio as best as you can. But none has been around longer than this guy, Marvin Rodak. RodaksCoffeeandGrills.com. He and Frank Hawley's drag racing school, honestly, I think within the same week, came on as legacy sponsors of WFO. The very beginning. Frank Hawley, they got the Dragster Adventure. They can send you on a day trip to drive a dragster. They come around the country, so you don't even have to fly out to Gainesville. You can just go to your local track, and they go there. They go to Vegas. They go to Tucson. They have a circuit that they do. So you might have to travel a little bit, but you won't have to go across the country to drive a dragster. FrankHawley.com, and tell them you heard about it on WFO Radio. And then there's Marvin, 817-924-6821. Coffee, hot sauce, spice rub, grills, high-end grills. He's located in Fort Worth, Texas, and he goes to the Stampede of Speed every year. Does a lot of hanging out at the Texas Motorplex. So if you're going to head down to the Stampede of Speed, this is what you should do. You should place an order from now and go down and pick it up in person. And that way you can get 10 pounds of coffee instead of having it shipped out. Because honestly, the shipping is, it's pricey. That's why you got to buy a lot at once so you can put it in one of those big flat rate boxes. 817-924-6821. But boy, is it worth it. There's a perfect example. I'm going to tell you the real challenges, and we're going to figure out how to overcome them together. But is having Rodax coffee worth the extra ordering and the shipping? Yes, because it is small batch, best stuff from around the world, bar none. 817-924-6821. WFO gear is on sale. Project Pontiac. It's not too soon to start thinking about. Yeah, it's Prime Day, right? It's not time for Black Friday and holiday shopping. And I also want to shout out to our friends at Wright Trailers, 83331 Wright. I have been working in my trailer and constantly reminded about Michael Scott and his team and what a great job they do. So check out wrighttrailers.com. All right, that is definitely enough time for you guys to have come up with some interesting commentary in the chat section, right? Like Henry G says, hit that like button, people. And Dragster Jeff says, hit that like button, people. Yes. And leave a comment as well. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the divisional race at the Stampede of Speed. And going on tomorrow at South Georgia Motorsports Park, the JEGS Sports Nationals and the Super Grip Thunder Valley Nationals reschedule and a Division II points race. So if you're anywhere near South Georgia Motorsports Park, guys, you should go. You got to get down there. Derek Putnam going to be on the mic. Alan Reinhardt was back on the mic for Lebanon Valley. That was cool, hearing some highlights with AR out there. It's all happening. But now we're about to embark on the second half of the season. Like, we're going to be headed to Seattle. We're coming out of the clubhouse, and we're starting the back 9, except it's the back 10. What will happen? And this is where I want to spend a little bit of time. You know, we've had a good time with our great marketing partners and folks at Stampede of Speed. But let's talk Pro Stock, where we left off with Greg Anderson. Greg and Dallas are the only drivers that got the regular season championship on their radar. That's going to be interesting. So KB Titan has already won it. What is it? 50 grand? Something like that. It's a big number. Dallas Glenn has won it each of the past 2 years when they paid nothing. He is motivated to win, but are you going to gain 50 points on Greg Anderson in 4 races? Yeah, you could, with 1.5 points at Indy. So that's an interesting story. Who will lead, Greg or Dallas? Who will get that money? Does it have to be any more than who's going to get that money? That's what it all is about. Who's going to get that money? The regular season bonus, the first time it's ever given in Pro Stock. Pro Stock Motorcycle, I'd say you have 3 drivers. Gage leads Matt Smith by 96, Richard by 111. On paper, they've got the opportunity, but not really. Is Gage Herrera really going to stumble and give up a 96-point lead to Matt Smith? Even if Matt wins a bunch of races and Gage goes out in the semifinals a bunch of races, it's going to take a while. So I think, I don't know. I don't know if you change the way you race if you're Matt or you're Richard. Like, Richard's riding great, going to finals, winning races. Matt Smith too. But do you test? Like, you're not beating him yet. Gage is still the guy. So what do you have to do to make sure he's no longer the guy? You got to find a little more. And I'm sure Matt Smith is looking for that. Now, if you're Richard Gadsden, it's a little bit more challenging because you know what Gage has, and you and he have the same thing. So Richard's just got to keep evolving and getting better. But that countdown reset is their best friend. You're Richard Gadsden. The countdown reset is your best friend, because Gage is going to lose the entire points lead and you're going to start again in the playoffs, which is very exciting to me. You know, like, we're not going to do that over and over again. Funny car, Austin Prock, 127 ahead of Jack Beckman, 192 ahead of Paul Lee, 209 ahead of Caps, and so on and so on. Put his name on the check, baby. That's it. You know, barring things that we don't want to see, like Austin Prock is kidnapped and locked in a porta-john somewhere in the Everglades of South Florida. We don't want that to happen. To lose that lead just through shocking developments on the racetrack seems unlikely. I mean, he's got that lead with 2 first-round losses to Buddy Hall. So I think Austin is getting into championship form and trying to go back to back. And the story in Funny Car to me is who can stop him, right? Like, what's the story? The story is Austin Prock, and who among you can stop this team? Can Jack Beckman stop him? Can Chris Cunningham and Tim Fabrizi, like, they're the favorites, but it's still unlikely. That would be, I think, a big surprise to many people. Paul Lee, the underdog, had a great conversation with Paul. Like, he's all in on this season. Like, this is it. Not saying he's not going to be back next year. That's not what we're saying. But we're saying he recognizes that if in poker terms, now is the time to go all in and plan for the championship run this year. That's interesting. Ron Capps, the performance is coming on. Matt Hagan, the performance is coming on. J.R. Todd, the performance is coming on. Daniel Wilkerson, the performance is coming on. Like, all of these guys, Tasca with a new chassis, they got rid of that old chassis, and then they got a new chassis. Chad Green, all of these guys benefit from the countdown reset. Without it, no chance. Pretty much over. 127. Austin Prock isn't going to fumble that poorly. But with the countdown, you make the playoffs, you got to go again. I don't want to speak it into existence again, but there's so many things that can happen. I think about Jeg Coughlin's countdown last year. I thought Jeg had a chance to win the championship. He won a race in the countdown. 1 thou red at Maple Grove changed everything. If it's 1 thou to the green, he wins first round, and now the whole dynamic is different. That's what's exciting about the countdown. That's what's exciting about the countdown, is that you don't know which direction it's going to go. And then there's Top Fuel, where Justin Ashley is riding a 2-race win streak. We don't talk about it because of the thing with, Coletta and Langdon. And there's 3 drivers that got a shot at the regular season championship. Tony Stewart, the points leader, Sean Langdon, 52 back, and Justin Ashley, 77 back. And Justin has made like 6 finals, something crazy, 6 of the last 7 races. That's how you win championships. There's a couple of different ways to do it. You could win all 6 races. Steve Torrance, there's one. That's a way to win. You could win, I think if you win 3 races, you're very close to winning the deal. But semifinals in every race, you're in the mix. You're in the mix. And Justin Ashley with consistency, you got to go to the semifinals and then hopefully score from that point. So it'll be very interesting to see. Doug Coletta, 187 back, not winning the regular season championship, but definitely a threat to win the championship. Antron Brown, they're a little bit of a struggle mode right now. Brittany has shown some life. Steve Torrance has shown life. Clay Milliken has shown life. Josh Hart, directionally correct, they're getting better. Sean Reed, the car has shown some performance at times, but I don't know if you would say they are a championship contender at the reset right now at this moment. That's why we come up with favorites and dark horses. It would be a dark horse run, no doubt. But Tony Stewart, Sean Langdon, Justin Ashley, just take a second. The top 5 in points. Driver ability. Tony Stewart, NASCAR Hall of Famer. Sean Langdon, one of the greatest of all time drag racers. Like, it's time to start talking about Sean like that. I know he was on a few weeks ago. He talked about his resting face, that people think he's unhappy all the time when he's just thinking about drag racing. I get that and respect that. Sean Langdon is arguably the greatest drag racer ever, driver wise. When you add in all he's done in junior dragsters and super comp and bracket racing and helping others and Top Fuel World Championship and winning a race in a funny car, all of those things, not celebrated as a celebrity, but when it comes to like, who does Tony Stewart respect as he's coming over here trying to do this? Sean Langdon is the guy. And Justin Ashley, the young racer trying to get one on the board. You all know how that goes. Like, you got to win a championship. You got to win a championship to be like part of the situation. Look at Dan Marino. You know, like, people will not give him credit as the best quarterback of all time because he never won the Super Bowl. And you can understand it. You got to win a championship to get into that conversation. They give you the key to the champion's washroom. And Justin Ashley, who has been one of the best drivers of the last 3 years, has been, you know, knocking at the door every year, knocking at the door. Last year, finals, the plane crashes, changed the outcome. Maybe not. We don't know. But he's trying to win a title. Tony Stewart trying to win a title. Sean Langdon trying to win a title. Doug Coletta, Antron Brown. The talent of those racers. Brittany Sixth, 2-time world champion, you know. Some people are hard on Brittany a little bit. The lady has won 2 world championships. So it's very exciting stuff. And hopefully you are along for the ride all season long. Got to run, Joe. Thanks for another amazing show. Have fun out west. See everyone soon. Thank you, Henry. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Fast Eddie, who won himself a bracket race. He's a WFO listener. He's a Patreon. He started sportsman racing in his Mustang, and he's like winning everything. He hit the like button. Thumbs up. Is that the middle finger? What is that? So-called side sponsorship or contingency prizes are a good way anyone can back a class they feel is underfunded. Very true. Look, I have a newfound appreciation for everything involved in drag racing since doing Project Pontiac. This past weekend, got the transit converter back from FTI and got the headers back from Jet Hot, North Carolina. Thank you, Lance and Brent and everybody associated. And so much work goes into all of this, guys. So much work. Now I'm organizing my trailer, I'm organizing my garage. I'm throwing out stuff. I'm trying to make the transition from a person with a car that's capable of racing to a competitive racer where I know where all my stuff is and I can focus on competition as opposed to having a big pile of garbage in my trailer. So much work. And that's why everybody that's out South Georgia Motorsports Park right now, enduring challenging weather, enjoy the time. You got 2 nationals and a divisional to race for. It's amazing. Most importantly, though, get your tickets for the Stampede of Speed and don't miss Life's a Drag. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. WFO.